You ready? Okay. Human Rights Commission meeting for August 24th is now called to order. We have a quorum, 4 here and 1 online. Dan Kalk has volunteered to serve as our Secretary Pro Tem for today's meeting. As with most online meetings, we'll need to, any action that's taken, we'll need to take a roll call of the members present, including the ones on the phone. So just a reminder of how we do that. Tim, if you make any motions, please identify your name. We know it's just you, but in case anybody else pops on. Okay, first item. Okay.
Yep.
First item of business is the approval of the minutes from July 27th of 2020.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Tim, do you approve?
Yes, I do.
Sue?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Motion passes. Minutes are approved. Second is take a look at our budget report. We take a look at the financial report. I believe the monies were for the poster and essay contest were now distributed. So we have now used, we have 66% of our budget left for the year, and we'll have some expenses if we do have if we do have some kind of a reception for the Human Rights Award. That's our only remaining, I think, item for this next year. Okay? I could see it, Tim. I saw that. So, are there any questions on the budget or the financial report? Okay. Moving on to item number 5, the Events Committee report. The possibility of an online ceremony. Anything to report on that? Okay.
I don't think anybody's meant to do anything on it.
No, and we'll have to talk about
We need
our
to.
subcommittees here in a minute. Same thing with the Greater Mankato Area Diversity Council Partnership. That's kind of put on hold until we find out what we can do, because that's a community-based event with people usually in attendance of some kind, and that's going to be difficult to do in this COVID era. So we're putting that on hold. Are we aware of any current human rights issues presently?
There's a lot of them.
Take your pick.
Yeah, where do you want to begin?
Yeah, where do you want to start? Yeah. Just note, I think anything you want to note, Dan?
No.
Okay. Sue?
Not that I'm aware of locally.
Okay. Chad?
Nothing locally.
Okay. I did see that the Floyd art thing was vandalized, and
Yeah.
the shooting this morning in Kenosha.
I was about to bring that up. Mankato tonight at the bridge is holding a silent protest
For the
for the
Kenosha.
gentleman in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Kenosha? Okay. For the Kenosha thing? Okay, so certainly there's still some things for us to do locally, right? I do know there have been some concerns over some political signs have been stolen. I know that's been kind of going around. I have no verification for that. I haven't talked to Chief Borchert, but I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
No, just I don't even remember where I heard it. I don't know if it was just people talking or
I
maybe
saw
it was
it on
online.
Facebook.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's where it
Facebook.
was. But I don't know anything about whether or not there's an investigation
Yeah,
or if they have any idea who this might be, but or if it's
They
one
didn't
or
even say what signs were stolen. I didn't even hear what sign got stolen.
Somebody said, and I don't know how verified that is. It was
yeah.
Trump signs, so were stolen. But
Okay.
okay, we'll move on. Any legislative update?
No, I don't have a legislative update. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. And our city liaison, I think it's Deanna, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
On the last meeting? Okay. Who's not here, so we'll put that on hold. So takes us to other business tonight, which is the first one is welcoming communities, New Ulm Forward. They have not met since our last meeting. We are meeting Thursday night via Zoom for our topics. And I think now we're starting to get into the content of what we're doing. Last time we talked about basically the 4 levels of racism that people have, starting with systemic racism all the way down. And you saw the exchange in the newspaper that we had dealing with that issue, per se. So we'll have more to report for our next meeting because we'll be meeting at this time. That has, I wouldn't say it's stalled because they've done a really good job of trying to keep everybody connected in the Zoom age, but it does make it a little different, a little difficult to continue what they do electronically. Item 10.2, the Public Relations Committee. If you recall at our last meeting, we formed a Public Relations Committee, and I had a conversation with City Attorney Hippert today regarding that, and we talked probably in fair amount of detail about the open meeting law. And basically, I explained to him what we were attempting to do. He said we can set the committee up, as far as he is aware, unless we have our own bylaws that we would violate. And I said I wasn't aware of any. And he said that we could set up any public relations committee as long as we instruct what it's going to do. However, it does not necessarily a way of getting around the open meeting law. He pulled up the statute while we were talking, and he said, and technically, we've been not following because our events committee and our education committee, since they are subcommittees, are also subject to the open meeting law. Oh. So we have to announce that. So that's something we should probably talk about to make sure that we follow those rules. I don't know if we want to change our meeting time and have those subcommittees meet on the same day ahead of time. That might be the best way of doing it.
Yep.
For half an hour, because we're split on those committees. So that's something we can maybe talk about at our next meeting to put on there. But nevertheless, he said we could form a public relations committee which could respond, and then if we were to submit a response to something that happens, we could simply say Public Relations Subcommittee of the Human Rights Commission. We wouldn't have to say the whole Human Rights Commission. If we wanted to say the Human Rights Commission, we would have to have a meeting
To
where everybody
approve.
have to agree.
Yeah.
So that gets kind of complicated, but so it was really instructive for me to pick his brain about the open meeting law and how we are doing that. And I think it's not a bad idea to have the Public Relations Committee per se, because some of the stuff which we do isn't covered by either of the 2 other committees, which is promotion. Dan, I think when you were chair, you had to write that article for the Journal,
Yep.
explaining what we do, and we had some other things that we do promotionally. And so I think we can retain that committee as part of that, and also maybe serve to draft a response. And we could submit it as the subcommittee if we want, or we could wait and have Lisa call a meeting, open meeting law.
With the open meeting law, how long of time do we have from the time we decide to have the meeting legally can we have it? I mean,
think
what is
it's
that process?
72 hours?
It's hours? Okay.
72 hours or
That
2 or
sounds
3
right.
days.
I was going to say 2 or 3 days. Is
2 or
what I
3 days.
remember.
I know she's.
Okay. All right.
I know because she sends these out Thursday night,
Yep.
the agendas, and we meet Monday. So
Those are business days. I
business
see.
days, yeah. So that's 2 days, 2 business days. So I think 2 days minimum would be that. I can check with her for sure.
Just have a
got it
guesstimate of
down,
what it
so
is.
she
Yeah, I'm
knows.
sure she does. I'm sure she's got that. Yeah.
Yes. So that's something that we might want to consider and talk about as we get maybe when everybody is here. Tim, do you have any comments or questions on that?
No, I do not, but Diane is also on the line.
Oh, okay. Hi, Diane. Thanks.
So,
Diane's on the line. You got that?
yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President, what, so would this public relations committee technically be a subcommittee then?
Yes, it would be in the same category as the events and education committees.
Okay, so the public relations committee would, along with those other two, as we know now, subcommittees be subject to open meeting laws?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he pulled up the statute, and the statute said the committees and subcommittees.
Okay.
The statute, according to the statute written.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
wondering if the public relations committee would be categorized as
Yeah.
a subcommittee, but I think that's probably what he was talking about, is like you can't circumvent it by calling
Right,
it
and I
something else.
told him we weren't interested necessarily in circumventing it, but rather doing,
Efficiency.
yeah, more efficiency of time and
Yeah.
adequacy of time. Yeah. Chad? Comment?
I know we're going to be getting to this shortly, but social media. If we start the social media, would that be part of our public relations committee? I believe it should be because
I think so. I think you're correct. And I said I think that's some of what we do, and that was what I was thinking among the promotion, any kind of
Right.
promotional stuff that we do
Yeah.
would fall under the purview of the.
not to get ahead of myself, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then I guess we'd have to take a look at whether or not any post is that.
Or, yeah. Well, Lisa included in our packet the city's social media policy, which I think we had looked at before,
I think so, yes.
if I remember correctly, right, when you guys were doing this, so it's not new. We know that this exists. But that packet does exist there, and there is a definition of social media site. There's the scope. And then basically anything that would be posted, as far as I understand, has to kind of be run by, this would be considered an official communication, right?
I would think so, yeah.
I would think so.
Right.
So has to be run by city manager. Did I see that right?
I believe so.
Is it the city manager? Yeah.
And I believe also the who's ever the head of tech.
Oh, okay. Is that Nate? Is Nate head of tech?
I believe so.
Okay. So that falls right into place, yeah. And I think that would be a great thing to do. Is, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for us with have our own sort of policy regarding what we are to do. Like, we're going to follow the city's policy. We're going to do this. We're going to have this done. This is the purpose of what we do. Attorney Hippert was encouraging us to make sure we have job descriptions, so to speak, for our committees, to make sure, which we kind of do, but he was wondering what the Public Relations Committee was doing. So I think that's something worthwhile to explore and continue to work at. But, so anyway, that's that committee. And then in our last meeting, one of our last meetings, we talked, I'm going to go back a little bit here to the, so I'm going to leave that at this point in time and put the Public Relations Committee on our agenda for next time to discuss how we want to proceed with that and come up with a job description. So our task is to present a job description to the full commission at our next meeting for the Public Relations Committee.
Okay.
Okay?
And will we do that at the meeting, or will some group have done some diligence work prior to coming here?
Yeah.
Tim wants to do that. Can't see his face, but it looks like he wants to do that.
That's it. Okay.
I can try to put something together.
Okay.
Just for the Public Relations Committee, or do you
Yeah,
want me
no,
to
just
dive
for the
into
Public
it?
Relations Committee.
Okay.
Do we have one for the education and for the other one?
I'm sure we have
kind
one
of one?
someplace, and I'll try and have Lisa find
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Okay.
So, that's one of the things I noticed in coming on the commission, that there are some documents that would be nice to have access to. Historical documents, like, is there a set of bylaws? I thought there were at one time. I wasn't 100% sure if we had our own bylaws. Attorney Hippert asked if we did. I said, I don't think so, but he said, because that'd be important to see with our bylaws,
Right.
take a look at that. Because if we need to form a committee, do we need to change the bylaws? Is there a rule for changing the bylaws, et cetera, et cetera? So there are certain things that we have to kind of look at. And I'll try and dig through the records that I was given, and I'll contact Lisa as far
But
as.
Lisa has that information.
Yeah, if she does, there's some things that are missing historically that she doesn't have, she doesn't have anymore or something. So that's some things that we need to find. And then the last item is the vetting process committee. I don't know if I missed something, but we talked about a vetting process, but we were talking it in the context of a vetting process for the city to maybe examine when engaging in outside employment. And if you recall, our city manager did some research and found out that he was not aware of anything other than low bid and that kind of a vetting process. And we talked about that a little bit in slight detail. And I guess if we were to do that, would we want to form a ad hoc vetting process committee to at least jot down some ideas for discussion to present maybe to the city council as a recommendation, or after we studied it and talk about it, maybe decide not to make a recommendation as well. Part of our role as the Human Rights Commission, as I understand it, is to advise the city on human rights issues. And I think this case it would fall under that purview of that direction, of that being that directive.
Yep. No, I would agree. So how would this, like, I'm just thinking logistically, how does this work? We get access to bidding jobs and then we review who did?
I don't know if we would necessarily do that, but we would make a recommendation to city council that if anyone is going to engage in some kind of a contractual agreement with the city, that the city would conduct some kind of a vetting process.
Okay.
And we're recommending the process. Now, if the process happens to be that they would have to go through a committee, a vetting committee, maybe they might want to say, a member from this commission, a member from that commission. Like I could see if you're engaging in a construction permit with the Public Utilities Commission, it might be wise to have someone on the commission as part of the vetting process,
Right.
that kind of thing. So
So they don't have anything in that, it's just basically low bid?
that's what I
Is
was
there-
told, yes. That's all we're aware
I
of.
would think there would have to be some legal things that they'd look into, their
I
contract
asked
of,
about background checks.
yeah, that's, I mean,
And
Do
he
they
was
have
not
a con-
aware of any.
yeah, do they have licenses to do
Yeah.
this and this sort of thing? I would think there'd be some legalities
That
there.
I didn't ask him, but those are some things we should certainly discuss and talk about
Yeah,
and recommend to the city council to at least explore.
okay. And it may already be in place to
It may-
some of it.
Correct.
Who knows?
Correct, that we're not aware of. I'll try to contact the city chairman and find out if he is aware of any
Okay.
part of that process.
Okay.
So what I was going to recommend is that the Public Relations Committee would maybe begin drafting the vetting process information. That sound reasonable?
Yes.
Okay, so item on our next agenda, Dan, if you could put it in a minute so Lisa gets it, would be to discuss the open meeting law in regards to committee meetings and how it might affect our schedule. That sound fair?
Say that again, Larry, please.
Discuss the open meeting laws as it affects our committees, subcommittees, and how it might influence our scheduling of our main meeting.
Okay.
Okay. We are at that time of the agenda. We're at the end of the meeting, of our agenda time. Is there anything else we need to bring up? A reminder that our next meeting is Monday, September 28th, 5:15 at the present time. Hearing no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll
Tim will
second.
second.
Tim seconds. Okay. Diane, are you in favor of adjourning?
Yes, aye.
Tim?
Yes, aye.
Sue?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Motion carries. We are now adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Yep.